Tequila? Tequila? Everything you say is innuendo! Alright guys, so we are here for Comedy Basics. We're going to get going in a few minutes. As we thought, a Thursday Comedy Basics panel. Very nice, small, and cozy. If you guys just want to move up here, we're just going to sit around and talk.
Okay.
Yeah. If anyone wants, just sit down here in the front. We're just going to hang out. I will give you guys as much help as I can. Is everyone here going to the open mic that is happening later then, correct?
Yes.
You might. Is that what you're saying? You might? I told that's good. That is a good response. The answer is yes. You're going. So, fun thing about this panel. I do not run a panel called Comedy Basics. I run a panel called Open Mic and Comedy Basics. But there's a slash between the two, so they thought they were two different panels. So now, you guys get about 12 years of stand-up experience condensed down into a totally chaotic hour. Have fun. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing here. We will cover most questions, because I want to know exactly what your guys' styles are, and I can give you pointers. I was kind of hoping for a small audience like this, because I can help you guys out individually. So,
yes.
Screw it. So the first thing about comedy is don't start early. We're 2 minutes early, and I don't listen to myself. So here we go.
No, we're always laughing.
I'm always laughing at myself. All right. So, Comedy Basics. Everyone here. Why are you here? Do you want to try to do stand-up? Do you want to try to do Whose Line Is Anywhere? Are you here to try to learn improv? Are you just trying to learn stage techniques? What would you guys like to get out of this panel? What's up? Okay, improv is where I start. That is definitely my thing. Improv. Okay, so we've got a lot of people into the. Okay, all right, that actually helps. A few things that you need to know about stand-up, improv, and performance. Number one, the easiest way in the world to get better is doing it. You're going to hear that a million times. Everyone will tell you the only way to get better is to do it. Now, yes, even I stand in front of a mirror and I practice stuff. I'm not practicing my stand-up at that point. I'm definitely not practicing improv because you can't practice that shit. All I'm working on is facial expressions, being able to see what I am doing. That is not teaching me anything. That is the polish on what I am doing. The only way you will get better is by doing it. A stand-up, if you ask any stand-up what it takes to create their type 10, their type 5, their routine. All it takes is write a joke, tell the joke, fail at telling the joke, rewrite the joke, fail at telling the joke, rewrite the joke, fail at retelling the joke, and about 20 years later, you'll have one joke. That's fine, because you're not doing it with one joke. The only way you will ever get better at this is to see what works. Inflection matters, tonality matters, stage presence matters. I can tell you the same story 5 times in a row. Not only are you going to hear 5 different versions of the same story, you're going to see me do it differently every time. I just had somebody at a convention come up to me and was like, hey, I think I have seen online every telling of the exploding boat story. Which one is real? Do you guys know Exploding Canoe? Many years ago, I worked at a campsite. While I was working at this campsite, we decided to start throwing musical events there to make money. Because we love money. Don't you guys love money? Yeah, here's a wonderful thing about loving money. If you ever run an event and turn it into a musical event, you will hate money and people. And that's what happened. Day 1 of this event. Day 1, I had my friend Bill. Bill is the nicest gentleman you will ever meet. Bill is this tall and the same wide. Bill is a circle. Bill is a wonderful, cuddly, amazing circle. And while working at the beginning of registration, of my event, the first people who walked in said, "Hey, can we get in for free?" And Bill went, "No." And the 19-year-old girl said, "How about now?" And Bill said, "Mine are better." What I'm about to do, don't ever do. Never explain your joke. If people don't get it, move on. Because it was fun for you, and that's what matters. That joke came from years ago at a fur con. Somebody in a line flashed the person checking them in and asked if they could get in for free. The rest I wrote. It's a lie. It's a blatant lie. But I didn't have a lead-in for my joke. I didn't have a way to warm up the audience. Writing a joke is a process. Setup, punchline, and then tagline if you've got it. Setup, why did the chicken cross the road? Punchline, to get to the other side. Tagline, but he was in Florida and no one knows how to drive, so he is hit by a car anyway. Adding to the joke on top of that, and if you're doing a full set, now you have the carryover, the ad, the bridge. How do you get to your next joke? You will rewrite that so many times, and when you know you need to rewrite it is when you give it to an audience and it doesn't work. It doesn't get the reaction that you want. The Exploding Canoe story is a story that I worked on for 8 years. For the most part, at open mic by my house. And then I would bring it to conventions and watch a joke that I had done in front of about 100 people and absolutely killed, get no reaction, because we're furries. That's fine. Know your audience. So you guys wanted to know about improv. Right there. Improv, one of the #1 rules, know your audience. A lot of people, you're going to see me do it this whole weekend. A lot of people know me in this fandom. You guys know how I talk. You all recognize my very strange cadence, my overuse of adjectives, adverbs. There's a reason I do that. There's a reason I over-describe everything. There's a reason I repeat myself. There's a reason why right now I said the word "there's a reason" 3 times in a row. I'm thinking of the next thing to say. Build up your vocabulary and your own personal cadence. If you can talk and keep talking, that right there is going to kill an improv. Improv is a little different than stand-up. In improv, silence is death. If your silence is meaningless, that is the suction of energy. You never want to lose the energy in a room that you have. And how do you keep that up? You keep going. And there's a lot of tricks to that. That's my trick. My trick is I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep describing things to you. I'm going to say it in slightly different ways and using my inflection, which I have worked on for years and years to be able to produce. But that's not the only thing that you can do. Facial expressions. I told you I get in front of the mirror. That's because I need to have a lot more control. The fact that people can do stand-up in a fursuit breaks my brain. I need facial expression. They have the body language, and you watch. Watch a fursuiter that really kills it up there, and watch what they do on that stage. Watch them move all around. Their body becomes their face. Use your facial expressions to convey emotions. Use your facial expressions to convey everything that you want that scene to have. Because your words aren't the only thing you're throwing out there. Body language is a big one. When you're on stage, you're going to see me do this all the time. If I'm running improv and my performers are wandering and meandering about on stage, you're going to see me give them some direction. Face the audience. I know most of us are gay. No one wants to see your ass during comedy. That's not the right time. Sometimes that's the right time. Sometimes that's the right time. Oh, my mate's gonna murder me. So, but it's okay to go up there, state your words, say what you're saying, and just keep moving. We want to talk about improv, then we're going to talk about improv in here. Don't worry about not being funny. There is no problem in improv about not being funny because technically, that's not what improv is. I feel like I've done the fandom a disservice. I've been running Whose Line Is It Anyway here for years. I've been running Whose Line Is It Anyway inside of the fandom for about 13 years now. What I am running is warm-up games that are meant to entertain. That's not actually what improv is. Long-form improv can be something truly deep that lets you see into that person and get to know them kind of like an American comic. A lot of the differences you'll see between American comics and other countries, American comics have the tendency to let you in. American comics let you get to know the person, and they do pick fun at themselves and they become the joke. I love making myself the joke. I'm an easy target. I'm 6'8", I look like this. I dress like if Abraham Lincoln sucked way more dick than Abraham Lincoln did. Let's be honest here. It's okay to make yourself the butt of the joke, but also, you still have to love yourself. There is such an easy way to overdo it, I see it happen all the time. Don't go up there, show them your worst, and wait for them to boo you. Go up there and show them how your worst makes you the special person you are. It's a hard thing, and I watch so many people fail specifically on that one, because they've got the chops, they've got the line, they've got the jokes, but they're just being mean. Not to the audience, to themselves. No one wants to see that. Again, know your audience. You know where that works great? Normal open mic. Normal open mic outside of the fandom, they love if you tear yourself down. I cried once on stage. Standing ovation. Oh, that made me feel great. Know your audience. Free doesn't want that. We're a family. Improv, it's the same way. So if we're going to do improv today, if we're going to talk about that, we're going to talk about some of the needs. First off, before we go, is there anyone here who is specifically trying to learn things for traditional stand-up comedy? Okay, so we've got a few traditional stand-ups in the room. I'm going to address you guys a little bit on how to write and how to do a few other things, but as a group, let's stick to the improv for a bit. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Improv is a connection to the audience. Improv is a connection to the other people on stage with you. You guys have heard this a million times. You've heard me say this at the beginning of my panel. Yes and.
Yep.
You've all heard yes and. Everyone knows what that is. Yes. Yes is accepting the scene as presented. Improv is a team game a lot of the times. I don't need to tell you, think fast, say something witty. You know that. If you want to be good at improv, what you need to be good at is playing as a team. You are not doing improv to tell the greatest joke possible in that second. You are up there trying to get the group to be as funny as physically possible in that moment. You are a team. Listening to your partners, playing off your partners, that's the yes. Yes is accepting the scene as they presented it. And is actually making the scene better. You're adding to the scene, because if everyone does that, if everyone, yes, I am into what you are doing, and I am a part of it, and I've added this, that's a story, that's a scene, and that's something that people want to watch. They want to see it being created. Because you're at an improv show, you know it was created off the cuff. You already have an advantage just because everyone knows you didn't prepare. That alone gives you part of the advantage that you need up there. It's fun to watch people struggle. It's more fun to watch them succeed. So when you're up there, forget about your joke. You will be funny. You will have a moment. You will have a line that comes to your head that will kill. But if you get to it by being quiet up on the stage, you're a punch-up artist. You're not an improviser. If you bring in the group and make them better by your presence, if you pass the conversation, who knows the game Party Quirks? You guys seen me run that one?
I've heard of it.
Very simple game. I send a guy out of the room, I assign 3 people a random quirk, and then one at a time, they come up onto stage and they act out that quirk. They act it out, and my person who left has to guess. What's the part of that game that's actually the improvisation?
Acting out the quirk, I assume?
Acting out the quirk at a party with 2 other people. You want them to get it. People like success. You want the party host to get it. If you just blow it right away, it's not impressive. They didn't succeed, you messed up. You're gonna get a laugh. It's funny and it's great, but that wasn't the scene. You are trying to make the party host better. You are trying to get him to succeed. But on top of that, there are 2 other people doing the same thing. You know their quirks. You know them. The party host does not. So what can you say? Well, you are acting out your quirk that'll let them jump in right after you. What is something that you can do that gives them an easy pitch to knock it out of the park? Because those laughs aren't for the person who told the joke. The laughs are for the people on stage. The difference between stand-up comedy and improv is stand-up comedy is a one-player game. When I do stand-up on that stage, I am alone. I am alone with the microphone. I'm actually a little antisocial over here. I have trouble talking to people. But this is easy for me. This is easy because I have my space and I just get to pontificate. It's easy because I am alone doing it. Improv is not. Improv is you and everyone up there with you trying to make each other better and trying to play as a team. It's a team game. In real life, if you were to get into these industries, I've been a stand-up for a very long time. It is one of the most cutthroat things I've ever done in my life. I've had jobs canceled because of different, better. I do not deny it. A better comedian than me took my spot. I have lost jobs because a better comedian than me got their friend to take my spot because they wanted him to perform. I've had MCs bump me because somebody they knew wanted the spot. I've had MCs bump me because some actual name showed up. It's cutthroat. It's not super fun getting up onto that stage, but once you do, you might love it. Do it. If you get the chance, do it. Open mic, do it. Find an open mic near you, sign up, and try. There you go. The worst thing that could possibly happen is silence, is bombing. You know what the best part about bombing is? You learn something. I've bombed, I can't tell you how many times. I have bombed in furry. I went to a convention once before that told me 5 minutes before a panel, hey, we want you to do a set. I'm like, oh, I can do my tight 10. They're like, no, can you just do an hour? No, but I will. I got up onto a stage in front of less people than are in this room right now, in a room bigger than this room was. It's a nightmare. That is hands down any stand-up comedian's nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
And then AV played music over my set the entire time because they thought it was appropriate. Little background music for me. How nice! I lost my ever-loving mind. But I learned something. In that audience, I did everything I could scenes that I had not worked on in years, stand-up routines that I had forgotten years ago. Terry the no-sex pterodactyl is something I told when I was 16 years old and then again when I was 30. I have told that twice! I did not know how to tell it. But I tried. And I found out that there were parts of that joke that did work. That joke is actually the creation. Terry the no-sex pterodactyl is the creation of the fire alarm story. Bombing on that joke and seeing what worked and what didn't, because a small audience, you're not going to hear a laugh. You're not going to get a laugh that much with a small audience. Why? Because of energy. Talked to you guys about that a little bit before. Energy is going to be your greatest weapon on this stage. If you can bring the audience in, if you can bring the audience up, you're going to have a good time no matter what you say. You guys have seen me work opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies at conventions?
Yeah.
What do? I scream. I get up here, and we're going to do some nonsense, and it doesn't matter what I say. I could wipe out my genitalia, but if I act like a fucking sociopath, I can bring up the audience in the room. I've been emceeing events for close to 2 decades now. Drawing energy is something I'm very good at. Not that fun, it's just different. But that energy is going to take my style of comedy. We're going to talk a little bit later about the different styles of stand-up, but it's, if you know them, I'm a stream of consciousness surrealist humorist. No one wants to see that. It's just silly. It's nonsense. But in furry, talking about yourself, talking about the world, talking about the audience themselves, bringing them into the madness and getting them hyped up for the madness to come, that's all it takes. And now I run your improv panels across the entire fucking country. Energy is your best friend. It doesn't mean you need to come up here and be the clown that I am. It means that you're not only self-energetic, you yourself want to be there. You yourself are showing that this is something you are excited to do. That rubs off on every single person in your audience. If you're excited to be there, if you want to be there, and if you're putting your all into it, they can tell. Every time they can tell. And when they join you in it, that's when those magic moments can happen. Because they're with you. Bring in your audience, which also comes to the opposite. Interacting with the audience. Oh, fun. Never forget, every person in a room wanted to be there. Especially in furry. But I would say in stand-up in general, you don't insult your audience. Shock humor isn't so much humor. Shock humor, when done right, is a deep look into the things that are wrong with the topics you are bringing up. Shock humor is a shock to the system because you said something so off base from the direction you were going in, or so off color that it is obviously a joke, that the absence makes it fun. Shock humor is not something that any of us should really attempt to do. One of the reasons for that is, you will be practicing that shit forever to find the one that works. Shock humor is insulting. Shock humor gets rid of some of your audience. Unfortunately, political humor too. Political humor is a little bit easier in furry because we all know the political leanings of everyone we care about in the room. That's easy. I don't do political humor at all. Why? Because I do this in real life, and I don't want to lose half my audience. I do want to lose half my audience, but I still want them to pay to get in, okay? Does that make a little bit more sense? I want their dirty, dirty Trump money. Yeah. Stuff like that isn't going to work inside of furry, because the audience is going to be with you right from the start. Furry is different than any other audience you will ever encounter. They want you to succeed. We're all friends here. And since we're on that topic, My friend right over here who said, you're not sure if you want to get up on that stage and try stand-up? Why not this weekend? Why not get in front of the one audience that you know, no matter what you go up there and say, I have watched a young gentleman get up onto my stage ready to do his stand-up. I am aware that he had it written. He had it practiced. He was ready. And he froze. He couldn't actually do it. Broke my heart. And then made me sob as he got a fucking standing ovation. You know why? Because he tried. If you don't try, you will never get any better. If you think that you can sit in your room, repeat your story, your stand-up, whatever you have, and think that you're going to go out on that stage and never bomb, you're wrong. Practice stories that I have been doing for literally 7-8 years. I have bombed on those in a normal audience, outside of the furry fandom, regularly. The person before me ate up all the energy and insulted the audience. The person before me took 7 minutes to sell their merch. Their entire stand-up routine, based off of the merch they were selling in the lobby, killed every amount of energy in that room. I could have went up there and started juggling with my dick, and I wouldn't have gotten a single clap. It's gonna happen. Learn from the bottom. It's the only way that you can get better at getting through those moments. Right now I am in a small room. I am telling jokes. I am adding punching. I'm not hearing laughs, and I'm not going to. I don't need that. Because also don't forget, and this is a huge part, I see people do this all the time. When you're on a stage, you're not going to see your audience that well. It's a little bit easier in this room. There's no spotlights. There's a few of you. I can see each and every one of you easily. If you're on stage with a light in your eye, and you're not getting verbal reactions from the audience, as far as you know, you are bombing. You're not. I guarantee you they're out there smiling. A laugh isn't as important as you think. A laugh is a verbal reaction, it's a visceral reaction, and yes, we all work for that reaction. There's very little difference between a laugh and a smile from somebody in your audience. Sometimes you're not going to get them to laugh, but they're enjoying it. Don't let the silence get to you. Don't be on stage and let it derail your train of thought, because that's what you've got. When you are up there doing improv or doing stand-up, you have what's in your head. You have what you have written, what you are ready for. And you have, for improv in particular, your wit, your preparedness. The things that you can rely on that you know you have in your back pocket. Maybe you know a good voice that you can throw into a scene. Maybe you are good at facial expressions and you can be shocked at somebody else's joke. Don't let the audience's nonverbal reaction throw you. That was a huge pitfall of mine for years. I'd go up there, I'd do my improv, and if you've never heard this, the rule for improv is 7 out of 10 aren't going to work. You're throwing shit at the wall. You want to do improv? All you are doing is throwing shit at a wall and hoping that somebody laughs at the smiley face that emerges on the white paint. You don't have much. And you have to be ready to fail, but also, just because you don't hear the laugh, don't think you failed. They might have been amused. They might have actually enjoyed it. I've had people come up to me after shows complimenting me on a joke that I remember got no reaction whatsoever. It was clever though, and they liked it. But when I started, that lack of reaction would throw me every time. So the guy who was teaching me at the time, Tim, he was part of my group, Content Removed. I used to be the MC for a small comedy troupe. Tim had me sit down in the audience for Hannah's routine. Hannah being a surrealist comic. Hannah was very silly, very out there. Hannah liked to make connections that would take you a few moments in your head to realize why the hell the top of the conversation went from the great crustacean, the lobster, to genital warts. So all you had to think of is crabs in the middle. There you go, you have the train of thought. No one really had a gut laugh whenever Hannah was on stage. You didn't get a lot of laughter. But Tim didn't make me watch Hannah. Tim had me sit on the side of the stage and watch the audience. No one got up. Everyone was smiling, and everyone was focused on her. She didn't get her verbal reaction, and she had the audience eating out of the palm of her hand. If you do this long enough, you're going to start recognizing the difference between a dead joke and a clever joke that didn't get a laugh. As a stand-up, yes, you want to go for the laugh. As a stand-up, you are prepared. You have your set, you're working on punch-up. You are trying to get people to laugh as much as physically possible, as much as you can through your story. At improv, you're trying to hold their attention. Saying something is always better than saying nothing. And failing, just fail with style. It's okay to fail. I know that. I do it all the time. Outside of stand-up even. I can barely drive a car. That's fine. Don't ever worry about the reaction. Who was it? Wonderful show. Ted Lasso. You guys watch Ted Lasso by any chance?
My parents do.
I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful show. But at one point, the advice is, be a goldfish. You got it. You can't keep going if you're in your own head about a reaction, about a dud joke, about any of that, because that doesn't matter. No one remembers the shit jokes. No one ever comes up to me to talk to me about a panel that I ran and says, oh, did you see the guy who went up there and said nothing? No, they come up there and tell me about the hits. They come up there and tell me about, oh, that one guy, he did. No one's going to remember your failures, so why should you? Learn from them. Stand-ups? What you're going to do is a little bit different, because you're doing the same thing every time. The exploding rowboat story took me years to piece together 7 minutes of one story. How did I do that? I just listened for the jokes that didn't really get the reaction I was looking for. As a stand-up, you do want that laugh. If you're going for a laugh, then keep going until you get it. Not at that time, but when you go home and rewrite. Again, setup, punchline, tagline, bridge. Over and over and over again. The canoe story may be 7 minutes long, but it does not break that mold. The punchline to the canoe story is, and then the lake exploded. That's always been the punchline to the story, and that hasn't changed ever. What changed was how I got there. Storytelling comedians. If you're going to tell a story, don't forget. If you have the greatest punchline in the world, a perfectly wrapped bow of a joke that will shatter the existence of every blooded human being in your audience, but it takes you a 7-minute story to get there, and no one is listening to you anymore. Storytelling comedians, it's all about punch-up. And that goes back to improv. Throwing out, okay, what's the game? Match game. Who knows what match game is? Okay, so we have some people, match game is this. You have a group of panelists. They are asked a question. It's kind of a leading question, very wide berth of answers. They need to write down their answer. And then the person who's actually playing the game writes down their answer in a hope to match the match gamers. It's that simple. Until you get to the fact that everyone over here that's writing down their answers, they're comedians. That was the match game. If you watched the original match game, the celebrities, they're comedians. They want to tell a joke so bad. And they can. They're thinking of 100 smart-ass answers for that stupid question. And they can use none of them. Why? Because he's got to get it right. You can't just go up there. If you're doing improv and you think of something immaculately funny, the silliest non sequitur, get that laugh, say it, but then get back on top. Bring it back in, get the stage. It's okay to be silly. It's okay to be out there and chaotic. But you can't shatter the scene. You can't shatter your story, and you can't lose your audience. You can't lose the joke. If you hit too hard of a non sequitur, it ends the scene. If you ever watch me do an improv game, and whose line is it anyway? And a bunch of people got to do the game for 4 minutes, and these guys got to do it for 5 minutes, and these guys got to do it for 1. Watch the joke that ended it. Somebody threw a non sequitur out there, and it killed. It's great, and I immediately end the game. Why? Because they have nowhere to go. It's over. It's over, and that's not a bad thing. If you're getting to the end of the scene, if you're running out of ideas, if it's coming to a natural end, shatter it. Bring down the house. If you're still establishing, you have to keep control with the fellow people who are performing with you. You're a team. Never forget that if you're doing improv, because you've got to make each other look good. Oh, I had notes. Give me a second. I own a cell phone. I hate it. Okay. Stand-ups and improvisers. A little less with improv, because in improv, you're brought up there and you're immediately made to do a scene. Once you're in improv, you're brought up, you get your initial introduction, and you do the scene. Stand-ups, there's nothing I hate more. I'm your MC. Hi everyone, we're about to do some open mic. You guys are amazing. These guys are amazing. The world is amazing. Isn't everyone happy? Here's so-and-so, and here comes so-and-so. Hi everyone. Aren't you guys amazing? Isn't this world amazing? I already did that! It's your turn! You don't need to acknowledge the MC. You don't need to acknowledge the audience. You need to acknowledge you! The moment you are on that stage, they are learning you. They are getting to know you. Don't waste those first 3 seconds. How's everyone doing out there tonight? They know how they're doing! They'd be doing better if you told the joke! And if you need the energy, I get that. I still do it too. If the room has fallen, maybe something that it just doesn't feel right to you, yeah, pump up your audience. But that's not necessary. Stand-ups, you're showing you. You need to make a connection with your audience. Improv, that's even more important. They only have moments to get to know you. Let them in. Be yourselves and enjoy being up there. It's okay to be nervous. We are all nervous up there. Before Anthrocon every year, before I get up onto Anthrocon main stage, which is hands down the biggest audience I perform in front of, every single one of them knows to leave me the hell alone for 10 minutes. I go stand in a corner. I go through what I think I'm going to say. I never say it, but I think I'm going to say it. And then I stand at the bottom of the ramp and I shake. I shake like a leaf. And then right before the show, Kage pats me on the back and says, "Don't fuck up." And then I go out there. The moment I step onto that stage, and I'll bet you that this will happen to each and every one of you. When you get used to it, the moment you step onto that stage, it's gone. I don't hype myself up before a panel because I'm worried about what I'm going to do out there. I'm hyping myself up before a panel to take that first step onto the stage, because once I do, it's fine. You're just going. You guys are going to write your stand-ups, you're going to write jokes, you're going to have them ready, and you're going to learn. You're going to learn your punch-up as you go, but you have a plan. Once you get up there, you just forget about the audience. Listen to the reactions, learn from them, but who the hell cares if they're there? The people who are there wanted to be there. I am in a giant fucking room right now. It is the Thursday of a convention, and I am here with people who wanted to be here. I'm always going to give you my best, because every one of you wanted to be in this room, so why wouldn't I? When you get up onto that stage to do improv, to do your stand-up, they all want to see you. Everyone wants to see what you can do. Show them. They don't want to see your comedy, they want to see you. This is America. We love our comedians. We want to be part of their lives. We don't want to hear about airplane food. We're going to get into right now some of the pitfalls. Slice of life comedy. This is one of my favorites. So I work at Jewel, and I work behind the counter, and I make the meat, the meat processes, and then this lady came in and she wanted salami, but we didn't have salami, but she really wanted salami, so I gave her bologna, and she was like, "Where was salami?" But I only had bologna, and she didn't want the bologna, so I gave her salami, and she was mad. So two things. I got a chuckle. Was that funny? Or was how I said it funny? It's how you slice of your life is good, but you, again, need to know your audience. A lot of us probably work retail jobs. A lot of us go through this shit. You can't just come up here and talk about all this stuff as a fact. I just told you facts about my non-existent job. There was nothing funny about it because you guys know these people. You guys have dealt with these people. You've shot at them. I know I have. But unless you add punch up, you've done nothing. It took me being an absolute goofball to get a smile out of you because I know how to do that. You will too. You're going to learn yourself, you're going to learn your facial expressions, you're going to learn your energy, and you're going to learn to tell things in ways that make the mundane funny. And that's a great skill to have, and learn it. But before you do that, constructing a joke. Improv, stand-up, anything. Constructing a joke. There is nothing funny about somebody ordering salami and having to get bologna. So make it fun. The truth doesn't matter. The truth has never mattered in stand-up. Take everything you've ever done at that job and combine it together. I told you the beginning of the canoe story. We're going to go through the entire joke, and I'm going to tell you how I construct it. Again, don't ever do this. Don't ever show anyone how the pudding is made. It's not funny, but it's information. So you already know about Bill. That led to the first day of the music event. We didn't do any musical event. We didn't have Simon and Garfunkel playing a nice little guitar. We didn't have the students from NIU coming out and enjoying themselves with their friends. No, what did we choose? We thought an EDM concert would be grand. We were wrong. It wasn't an EDM concert. The concert that we did was called Filk. I have tried a million different ways to make Filk funny. But Filk is already so silly in itself. You don't know what Filk is? Filk is fake folk music. It is if a band comes up there and tells you a story about Lord of the Rings in musical format. It's fake, it's fun, it's beautiful, and it's interesting. But I couldn't get it to work. I changed it to EDM, and all of a sudden people immediately are into the story like, oh, EDM music, Electric Forest, EDM music, oh, Burning Man. They're immediately on the same page as me. I never ran an EDM concert in my life, but I changed it to EDM to bring in the audience. The day that started, we started having incidents. The first one happened in our bathrooms. All the toilet paper The industrial size rolls of toilet paper, they're gone. Somebody stole all of the toilet paper out of all the bathrooms at the campsite. True. I don't need to change that. Because who needs that much toilet paper? All of you are on my page. There's no laugh there. That part of the story is to bring you into my mindset. I am trying to give you a baseline of the silliness that's about to happen. Also, I started off on the most reasonable one. Yeah, people steal toilet paper. Maybe they needed it for their campsite. Maybe they just wanted to build, I don't know, a mummy. That's totally reasonable. So then we escalate. Right after we dealt with that, me and Steve get a call over the radio. Now we have a gas-powered, oh my God, what are those called? Golf cart. That's how we get around the site. It's also how we get the garbage. I used to love doing that at this campsite. We'd have like little bets. My buddy would drive the gas cart, and I would try to reach out and grab the trash, and then we'd leave a trail of it to find our way home, because I wasn't very good at this game, but it was fun. We would get on this cart, and we would drive out to wherever there was a problem. So when the call came in that somebody was burning my picnic tables, me and Steve rushed. Kind of rushed. Steve grabbed a shovel. I didn't know why at the time. Found out later it was mainly so he could stand like this. Because if you think you're intimidating, you're more intimidating if you stand like this with a shovel and no shirt on. Steve doesn't exist. Steve is an amalgamation of my security team when I ran this campsite. Steve is Matt Waller, Jason, Bill Holtblatt. It's all my friends. Steve is an amalgamation. Why? Because I don't want to tell you about Matt, Bill, Steve. That's too much shit. You're never going to remember. You can't stick with the story. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. You have to keep it simple. You will never hear me tell a story. You will very rarely hear me tell a story about my old career. I was a commodities broker. Why won't you hear that? Because I can't make you understand why what I'm saying is wrong. Why what I'm saying is off. Because to understand that, I'd have to explain my job to you. You may understand stocks, commodities are different. Right there, I've already lost you. Who the fuck cares? That's why you don't hear me tell stories about that part of my life too often, because it's too complicated to make the description that brings you onto the same page as me funny. Steve exists because I don't want to tell you about 5 different people. The moment we got to this site, the picnic table ablaze inside of their fire pit, kind of inside of their fire pit, leaning on their, like a flaming lean-to. And as we are talking to these youths, behind us, the gas-powered cart starts and drives off. And Steve goes after it for the rest of the day. Real. Jason chased around our gas-powered golf cart when one of my other friends stole it at a different event. I found it funny, so I kept that part of the story. But also, I didn't just say that. It's a nice anecdote. I would have just dropped that part of the story. The only reason it works is because of the punchline. I'm going to call back. It's okay to have a little silly moment in there. You're going to remember. I didn't tell you that just to make the noise. I told you that for 2 reasons. 1, it's going to stick out in your mind. And 2, I need you to know that it's a gas-powered golf cart. I have to keep reminding you through my whole story that it's a gas-powered golf cart. Why? Because I need the gas for the punchline. The moment that's done, my radio goes off again, and I meet 2 youths. 2 youths that are now sitting in my operations tent, holding their mom's Tupperware. And as I walk in, my director tells me, hey Dan, we just caught these 2 16-year-olds selling shrooms. And I said, oh,
I went up to them. I saw the Tupperware container. I took the Tupperware container, which was wonderful because not only was it filled to the brim with shrooms, their mother's name was on it. Just a piece of tape with their family name, like most of your parents did with your Tupperware. My mom used to label our Tupperware. That's where that joke comes from. I hope that people in my audience go, my family did that too. That's all that one is. I did have a pair of kids selling shrooms. I did tell them to go to their car, and they were 16. I don't want them to get in trouble. I took their keys. I told them to go to their car for the night. I kept the shrooms, and then I proceeded to eat them over the next few months. True. Because I just let you in. I don't hide my past, especially from you guys. I'm not proud of a lot of my past, but I can laugh about it. I know I was stupid. I know I used to do a lot of drugs. And I know that I got over that, kind of. I can make fun of that. I can make fun of myself because I know I got that. If I came up here with my eyes bloodshot and red, giant bags around my eyes, like, and that's why I did shrooms. The reaction isn't, ha ha, the reaction is, oh. He's gonna die. That's why that line is still in that story. I debated for years, I didn't tell that line, that I did the shrooms afterwards. But then I realized it was a chance to let you guys in. That's why that line is there. After that, the calls started coming in nonstop. This campsite is at my LARP, a live-action role-playing game. A place where we go to play D&D in the forest with plumbing supplies. And what did I add to that game? I used to be a pyrotechnic, so I brought the fireworks. I got a call that they broke into my shed and stole my professional-grade fireworks out from under me, and I was not happy. Now again, there isn't a lot of punch-up in that section. That is because again, I need it for the punchline. All of that actually happened. That happened at this event. They broke into my shed. They stole close to $10,000 of professional-grade fireworks. I want to skip that part so bad because it's not funny. It's interesting. I have your attention. I need it for the punchline. How quickly can I tell it? What's Nero?
What's what?
Nero.
Nero?
Exactly. Nero is my live-action role-playing game. Nero has about 87 pages of rules. I've been playing it for 10 years. I can go on about that game for the next 4. In fact, I have a panel about that game later in this convention where I'm going to talk about it for an hour. I got through that section in 5 seconds. LARP, plumbing supplies in the forest, explosives expert. You have all the information you needed, even though, dear God, do I want to stand up here and talk to you guys about LARP. I had to get past that. I have to get through that section, and it's got to be over with. There's so much, and that's something that anyone, especially stand-ups, dear God, especially stand-ups, how quickly can you get through your descriptions so they're on the same page? That's all that section is. And then finally, we got the word that they had broken into the barn. They stole our canoe. We're at our wits' end. But the night's over. Myself, my friends, we're finally sitting down. We are finally sitting around a beautiful little fire outside of operations, looking at the night sky, thinking, well, at least it couldn't get any worse. And then the lake exploded. I look away from the audience anytime I do that. Every time, because I want you to see that I'm part of the story. Everything I'm doing during this story is 100% rehearsed and gone over years and years. And then the lake exploded. In my mind, I'm there because I want you guys to feel that with me. Because that's the line. That's the line where I'm bringing in the entire audience. Because now, while you are distracted, while you are laughing at the sheer madness of everything you just heard, leading to the lake exploding, now that I have your energy, remember I told you, what are the steps? You write your joke. It's the intro, the build-up, the punchline, and then more. More is this. They had stolen the canoe to put the canoe in the water. They had filled the bottom of the canoe with all of the toilet paper, taking the gas from the golf cart, pouring it over the toilet paper, and putting $10,000 worth of explosives on it. They then took my wick, put it into the toilet paper, kicked the boat out in the middle of the lake, let them. Do you guys know the difference between quick burn and slow burn fuse?
Yes.
I'm building you there. You already know the lake exploded. You didn't know that everything I was telling you up to that point, I led you guys into it. I bring back every joke. All this is a complicated callback routine. The toilet paper is here, the canoe is here, the golf cart is here. Everything I told you enters into the punchline. And then as you're waiting for it, where does the hit come? I stop. Do you know the difference between quick burn and slow burn fuse? It's true. That part all happened in its essence. And it's true. They definitely did not know the difference between slow burn and quick burn fuse. A slow burn fuse is a green fuse. It burns the same way you see it on all your traditional fireworks. A yellow fuse, a quick burn, is specifically made to help pyrotechnics light multiple fireworks. It burns hot, it burns fast, and by fast I mean...
Death cord.
Oh yeah, there you go, exactly. It happened. They blew up a canoe. They blew up a canoe in the middle of the lake, in the middle of a damn music event, and we got our pantsuit off. Because you can't blow up shit in a campsite without the cops showing up. There's so much more to that story. There's so much more to that story. From the cops coming in and shutting down our music event. From the cops coming in and, thank God, knowing me and not mentioning the Tupperware full of shrooms that I had in the cabin. From days later of dealing with the fallout from zoning commissions that wanted us to lose our license for being an event menu, to an actual petition from local neighbors to shut us down because of constant noise complaints. And everything that I just told you right there, that whole last spiel, I have tried to work every single one of those into this joke at some time or another. All of them have been dropped because I couldn't get the reaction I did. But now, after years of working on it, I have a 5 to 7 minute story. I can change it as I need. And it changes a little bit every time. If you guys listen to this throughout the years, to this day, I still make little tweaks to this story. But that's how you write. You're going to write your lead in, your build in. You're going to write your punchline. You're going to write your hook. You're going to write the end of it to get a little bit better. And then you're going to write your bridge to get to the next joke. And then you're going to perform it over and over and over again until you're happy, which will never happen. But that's okay, because every time you tell it, you're a little bit better. Even when you bomb, you know you did a little bit better. Why? Because you told it that way for a reason. You may not have told a great joke, but you told something that you now know doesn't work. You'll learn to figure out if it didn't work because of the audience, because of you, because of inflection, because of energy. None of that shit matters in the end. What matters is that you're happy with your joke. So, write. Stand-ups, dear God, write. Improvisers, doesn't hurt. Having ideas up there is how I do the shit I do. You can't tell me that you think that I can go up there and spout this shit from the top of my head because I'm coming up with it on the spot. No, I can spout this shit from the top of my head because I've been doing it since I was 16 years old. At 16, I started the St. Lawrence High School Improv Club. I have been doing improv in this style for, oh my God, I'm fucking 42. Oh, a long goddamn time. I've heard it, I've seen it, and I've probably had a similar setup. It's not the exact same, but I've done it before. So now we go back to the beginning of this panel. How do you get better at stand-up or improv? Doing it. If you see my name at a convention, I have put in for improv panels, I've probably put in for stand-up panels. If you have a comedy club near your house, they have an open mic now. And you've got friends. Sitting around and telling stories with each other over a drink is stand-up, just with close friends. Guys, try it, do it, and watch how good you can get. Does anyone have any questions? We end it with this. We're all our own worst enemies. We always will. I find it very difficult when doing a new set to present to the audience. You guys know most of my stories. People who have been watching my shit for years know most of my stories. I've got a handful that I've never told you guys because I'm not happy with them yet. I'm doing you a disservice and I know that. I should go up there and try them. I'm trying them at open mic instead of here. I don't know if that's right, but for you guys, it's definitely right. Get up there and try it. No matter what you wrote, no matter what you think, because again, bombing is a myth. It's gonna hurt, and it's gonna suck, and it's gonna make you feel like shit. But like somebody in the audience laughing at your joke out of absolutely nowhere, there's no difference. It's a visceral reaction, and it's all up here. It's fine. Don't worry about bombing. Just learn from it and get your ass back up there. Because they're not going to remember your bomb. They're going to remember you knock it out of the park. If there are no questions, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate you guys coming here and giving me your Thursday. What's up, bud?
I do have a question. Well, who, like some of your favorite comics?
Okay, so up until they went batshit rapey, Bill Cosby was actually, no, genuinely, I hate to be that guy, before he turned out to be what he is, that is a person who can write and pull it off without any blue humor at all. It was impressive as hell, and now I hate him.
I know what you mean, because like the one in which is like the children was like, damn it in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. It's brilliant. If you've ever seen him, you want to talk about old school Richard Jenny. Richard Jenny is a very, very sad story, an amazing comic, but this is a comic who had the build-up, punchline, ad, and bridge. He nails it every time. Might not be your cup of tea. If you want to learn structure, Brett Kreischer, the machine, okay. Brett Kreischer might be, at this time, the most by-the-book stand-up I have ever seen. I don't like his style, I don't like the personality that he's putting forth, and I don't like the character that he's playing. But I have never respected a comedian more than a person who can go up there and do what he does. He absolutely nails every single step along the way, including the insanely clever callbacks. Not my style, I will watch everything that he puts out. And then you have other comedians that can do a bit more of the improv blues style. I wish I could remember, Australian hardcore alcoholic. I can't think of his name. Yeah, right, I know. I'm gonna blank on his name, my apologies. But, and then of course, as a Chicagoan, Kyle Kinane. Kyle Kinane is very much my style. Kyle Kinane is a literature major who uses his obscene skill with the English language to turn things that aren't that funny into uproarious sense. Again, his is not the topic that's funny, his is how he says it. A very hard skill to learn, but if you can learn it, it's a great bullet to have in the holster. Those are really some people, if you want different styles, I recommend each and every one. I wish I could remember the Australian's name, because he is actually very clever. And then I hate to say it, It's a respect thing. Because anyone who does what he did, that takes years. If you want to hear a story, help me out. He did the Comedy Central show. He's a shock comic, white guy.
Louis Black?
No, Louis Black. I can tell you stories about Louis Black.
No, Robert
That's-
White's not that. He's not that shy.
No, what's his name?
Daniel Bond.
Daniel. He does the. It's like a bunch of YouTube videos. Tosh, Daniel Tosh. Daniel Tosh, again, not a style of humor that I like. If you want to hear a story, find out how hard it was for him to become a comedian. Think of what he says and how he says it. Can you imagine going to open mic and attempting to say that shit? You know why his stuff works? Because the people who go to Daniel Tosh's shows know who Daniel Tosh is. They know what they're walking into. They know what they're about to hear. Not the jokes, but what it's going to be. When he started in stand-up, his audience did not. I would put money on that he is probably, other than truly unskilled, unfunny people, he is probably has the most skill with the most amount of walkouts. Think of what he says. If you're not into that and you didn't know who you were seeing, he's the guy you're walking out of. He's had entire shows leave. And now he's a millionaire from Comedy Central. Why? Because he just did exactly what I told you. He worked on those routines until he found a way to tell them that was a little bit less. Yeah, it's still shock comedy. Yeah, he's still saying some pretty horrific out there things, but watch how he says it.
Doesn't he have his own like show or something?
Yes, he does. Tosh.0, thank you. I could not think of the name of that. Watch how he says it. When he says the horrific thing, it's obviously a joke. Why do you know that? Because he's Daniel Tosh. He had to figure out how to do that before the answer was because he's Daniel Tosh. I have a lot of respect for him, even if I don't like his sound. So yeah, really recommend watching those guys and taking a few cues from them because they are genuinely brilliant. Anyone else?
Well, the one that always surprised me was Bob Saget.
Bob Saget is
on
genius.
TV and then seeing him.
Okay, so Bob Saget really nails that because that was always his style. But if you go to pre-Full House Bob Saget and post-Full House Bob Saget, you know what changed? The look. He's always been a blue comic. Bob Saget is just a blue comic and he's good at it. I actually do like Bob Saget a lot. After Full House, his look on stage was way more clean cut, smaller glasses, nicer shirt. He goes out there because he wants the shock of initially walking on stage because he is so aware that there are people in that audience who saw, oh, Bob Saget, the guy from Full House. And he lets them think that. Oh, he is funny. He's good. Yeah, he is somebody who has cultivated a look, and he uses it for, he is a good. White, oh God. Punch-up comedian who does, I think he passed away. Okay, we'll do the other one because it's the same thing. Who knows Mitch Hedberg? Absolutely, Mitch Hedberg is a goddamn genius. Look at what he looks like. He looks like the kind of person who's going to tell those jokes. That's a cultivated look. The moment he walks out on that stage, you're already in. I told you, your first 3 seconds on stage are going to matter. Knock your audience away. How did he deal with that? By looking the way he does. It's fantastic. The moment he walks up there, you know you're in for stoner comedy. Does he give you stoner comedy? No, he gives you some of the most brilliant one-liner observational humor that I've seen in because it was years ago, in a very fucking long time. That kind of stuff matters. So yeah, Mitch Hedberg, another one that, wow. Another one, I'm so sad that we lost him. Yes?
What about, there's this, I don't know, you might have heard this, Gabriel Iglesias. What about him? What about his stuff?
Okay, so Gabriel Iglesias, I actually do like. He is a callback master. He has one of the best full set callbacks that I've seen. Again, another one, I despise him, especially now. Chappelle.
Oh,
Chappelle still holds.
Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle. Oh, exactly. But at the end of the day, he still holds a masterclass level callback. Initial joke, it's a joke. You hear it, you forget it. When he brings it back at the end, you're not expecting it, and it brings down the house. How did he do that? He made the callback a joke. Gabriel Iglesias did the same thing. I once made a cop laugh so hard he peed himself. Okay, fine. The fact that that's the punchline to his final joke, because that's joke enough. We had it. We got it there. You're not expecting it at the end. Gabriel is a master of the callback. I don't like voice comedians. I usually don't like them. But I will say that he does a much better job of using his voices to punch up his comedy rather than making it his comedy. So I do like him. And his style is again, very polished. He is a very polished comedian. A weird one for you guys. Pale gentleman. He turns into a very high-pitched voice when he feels like it. Oh, that's not what I wanted. And then he just continues the joke. I wish I could remember his fucking name.
Gaffigan?
Thank you, Gaffigan.
Yeah, Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, you want to see something bad? See Jim Gaffigan work on new sets.
Oh.
Jim is insanely polished. Jim Gaffigan is months of trial and error at his local stand-up halls, failing over and over and over again until he finds one that he likes, and then he works on the punch-up. Watching him outside of one of his main shows is watching a comedian struggle, because he literally is trying everything that he can to find that next laugh, and he is brilliant because he doesn't mind failing. I've got to see it more than once. He went up there and bombed, and then went to the bar and had a great time with everyone. Be a goldfish. It's fine for him. He didn't find a new joke that day. He'll try it again. Yeah, mad respect for fucking Gaffigan. That is a hard way to do comedy. Anyone else? Guys? Thank you so much for being here. I don't know when the open mic panel is, but I did see one on the schedule.
Should be 10 o'clock.
Is it 10? 10. If you get a chance, I highly recommend going to the open mic panel. Please try. This is your audience. And of course, I believe somebody other than me is running the Whose Line Is It Anyway panel. I hope you guys get a chance to go there as well and try out your chops at improv. If you see my name is Alkali. At any convention, I am proudly running open mic and Whose Line. I hope to see each and every one of you there when I am running it, because it's what I love to do. I love giving you guys this stage. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me be on this one. Enjoy the convention, and good night. Not bad for a panel I've never run before, I hope. Oh, you guys weren't there for it. This wasn't my panel. No, don't be. I submit, my panel is called Open Mic / Comedy Basics. They thought it was two different panels, so they gave me Comedy Basics. Like, oh joy! So I wrote this an hour ago. Guys, thank you all for being here. Seriously, this was a nice way to start the con.
Well, I mean, so the one thing is like, how do you get into comedy? So it's like,
Doing it. How you get into comedy is going to open mic nights and working on it until you are happy with what you have. I MC because I have a loud voice and I know how to bring up energy in an audience. I know I can do that because I ran my improv troupe in high school, and I ran an improv troupe in college, and that group went over with another group, Content Removed. His guy, the guy in charge of it, came to one of our shows, saw what I did, and made me the MC. That's the hard part about comedy. Like, you hear people looking for a break. You actually are. You're waiting for somebody to see you who can do something about it. But until then, Like I said, what you are doing needs to be shown to the audience. You have to be having a good time. So yeah, you're doing open. You're going out there and you're performing and you are perfecting your craft. And if you're good enough, if you can go to an open mic and kill, people will take notice. Because open mics are hard, man. Open mics are, most of the time, the people at open mics are 3 different people. 1, the other open mic comedians. 2, hardcore alcoholics. And 3, somebody who heard there's an act that maybe they should check out. And those are the ones you're looking for. You're gonna get heckled, it's gonna be brutal, and if you're doing real stand-up, if you're doing open mic, you might come across some people who are gonna try to tear you down because they might be a little bit jealous or worried that you're gonna get their stage spot. It's a stupid, cutthroat, that's why I do improv. Comedy is hard, man. Stand-up is hard. But if you keep at it, and you get a little lucky, hopefully somebody who can put you in a good position will see you. And don't forget, those people are there. The person who owns that comedy club is there. One of my MC jobs came because I kept doing open mic, and one day he was like, hey, we need an MC. Can you do it? I got that job permanently for about 5-6 years. I was just at his club once a week doing open mic, trying to perfect it for this shit. And then I got a little part-time job. It'll happen. Just keep going. Trucking at it is the only thing you can really do, because it's the only way you get better. I wish I had a better answer for you, but there really isn't. Right? Right? Isn't it the most disappointing shit? It's like, hey, that job that both of us really want, all you need to do is wish upon a star, motherfucker. Yeah! Fucking reality.
You tried your best and failed miserably. Lesson is
Never try. Yes, you get it. No, always try. Always try. Guys, I do hope you found some entertainment in this. Have a wonderful evening.
Absolutely, we always do.
Looking forward to Box of Lies tomorrow.
Oh, so am I. I like that game. That's always a fun one.
There's one by Connox. First floor, or the floor we're on.
Exploding canoe and everything. That was awesome.